Hi there, Nazneen. So we have another set of essays from you. Wonderful. Let's take a look at it straight away. The first one is the task 1 about shoe sales. So let's see what you wrote. First of all, it's not called a bar graph. It's called a bar chart. So these are typically called bar charts, pie charts, and line graphs. Okay? So that's the first thing. So let's see what you said. The bar chart shows sales with an S of brown and black leather shoes in non-European countries in the year 2018. Okay, no problems there. There was a greater demand for brown shoes in countries like France, Poland, Ireland, Germany, and Holland. Highest number of brown shoes were sold in Poland and Germany, with sales reaching to 130,000 and 120,000 respectively, compared to only 75,000 and 70,000 black shoes sold in the same region. Whoa, okay. So, things got a little tricky here. It was a really long sentence. I don't know if you meant this to be a comma or if you meant it to be a full stop, because I see you have highest here. But there was also a problem in terms of the grammar. So let's try it again. There was a greater demand for brown shoes in, you don't even need to say in countries like. So instead you should have just said for brown shoes in France, Poland, Ireland, Germany, and Holland. Don't forget to capitalize Germany. Full stop. The highest number of brown shoes were sold in Poland and Germany, with sales reaching, get rid of 2, reaching 130,000 and 120,000 respectively, compared to only 75,000 and 70,000 black shoes sold in the same region. Okay, so you're talking about the highest shoe sales of brown leather shoes, and then you put in that piece of information about black. All right, let's see how it continues. Brown shoes were least popular in Belgium, with sales of approximately only 2,000 pieces, compared to, please don't use the word humongous, it's really informal, it's like a slang word essentially. Compared to you could say the enormous, well, I don't really like the enormous either, compared to the popularity of black shoes in the same country, reaching 101,000 shoes. All right, you can see that I'm struggling with this sentence in general. It is a little awkward, and I would like to fix some of it. I'm also trying to understand the way you've decided to organize this answer. All right, but we'll talk about that once we finish this. But yeah, this sentence really kind of troubled me. So what you're doing now is you're talking about brown leather. You're talking about Belgium. Brown leather shoes were least popular in Belgium, with sales of approximately 2,000 pieces. Okay, you could have said here, in contrast, black leather shoes in this country reached 101,000 sales. Okay, it might have worked a little better like that. On the other hand, black shoes were more popular in, again, don't say it like, just say were more popular in UK, Belgium, Hungary, and Italy. Not maximum, because that means that you can't go any higher. So what you want to say here is the most black shoes were sold in Hungary and Italy, with sales of approximately 140,000 and 120,000 respectively, followed by Belgium and UK. In totality, Belgium, Hungary, and Italy had greater shoe sales compared to other countries, and 5 out of 9 European countries preferred brown over black. Okay, brown over black. All right, fine. So I'm okay with your overview. All right, here at the end. I'm okay with your introduction. There are some things though that I would have liked you to organize a little differently. First of all, I felt that your paragraph about the black leather shoes was a little underdeveloped. I think you needed a little more information. I think part of the problem is that you threw in some information about black leather shoes here. And that's one thing I wasn't really crazy about. You started talking about brown leather shoes, and you were talking about brown leather shoes, and then all of a sudden you started you made this comparison here about black leather shoes in Poland and Germany, and then you did the same thing with Belgium. So what ends up happening is it seems like there's not really um, like a logical organization to your ideas. What you need to do in a task like this is just kind of really make it kind of cleanly organized. Now, while it does say, make comparisons where relevant, and yeah, that's true, you should. There are other ways you could have done this, this particular task. So, one thing you could have done is what you kind of started to do, which is just, talk about brown leather shoes in one paragraph and just black leather shoes in the other paragraph. And I think that would have been a good thing to do because you didn't really talk a whole lot about black leather shoes. We don't have a ton of information. So, all right, we've got these two highest numbers and then we have a couple of mentions here. So, okay. So one thing you could have done is you could have just you could have grouped. So you could have used these numbers along the side as a way to group. So what do I mean? I mean that when you're talking about brown leather shoes, you could say that 4 countries sold over 100,000 brown leather shoes. They were Germany, Poland, Hungary, and Italy, with Poland selling the most at 135,000. Okay? Then you could say the least brown leather shoes were sold in Belgium at only 2,000. The remaining countries, and then name them, all sold between 50 and 100,000 brown leather shoes. Okay? And then you can switch gears and just say, in contrast, only 3 countries sold over 100,000 black leather shoes. Okay, they were Belgium, Hungary, and Italy. However, Hungary's sales of black leather shoes were the highest figure on the chart at 140,000 sales. Okay, so here you're making a comparison here. All right, so yeah, only 3 countries compared to brown, but hey, look, it's the highest figure on the chart. So that's kind of organization that would really work here. And then you could do the same thing. You could say that only France had under 50,000. And then you can, again, group the other countries the way I did before. So that's another way of doing this. Okay, so let's move on to your next task. All right, so let's look at your task 2 now. This is about more economic success when you work longer hours. Let's see what you said. Experts with an S throughout the developed and developing world have debated whether working overtime or having average working hours proves to be economically successful for the country. This essay will discuss both sides using examples from recent research in Stanford University and University of Columbia to demonstrate my point. All right, well, yeah, fine, but there's a problem here. So check this out. The task asks you to what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement. You didn't answer that, but you really should, okay? If you look at the band descriptors for task 2, you will see under task achievement at band 7 that you need to present a clear position throughout your response. Throughout means from the beginning to the end. And so for your position to be clear from the beginning, it's a good idea to include it in your introduction, all right? This way, the examiner knows what your position is from that first paragraph. All right, so because now I don't know, okay, and there's probably a good likelihood that I will not understand what your point of view is until I get to your conclusion. So let's see what you said. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that people who work long hours are mentally and physically fatigued and therefore become less productive over a period of time. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, working long hours increases the risk of very serious physical, what happened here? Physical and illness. I don't understand that. Oh, what you mean by physical here? Maybe you mean physical and mental illnesses? Maybe you do. I don't know. Secondly, it deprives a person of having a healthy personal life whereby members of the family suffer too. For example, a recent research in Stanford University, get rid of A and its recent research from Stanford University showed that extra hours at the office increases morbidity and mortality by about 25%, including incidence of many psychological illnesses, ES. Therefore, it is clear that increasing work time is detrimental for a person's health, and therefore their productivity decreases in the long run. Okay, so let's see. Now, here's what happened. You have this firstly here, which is various physical illnesses and so forth, but you actually didn't support that until down here. So this sentence to me seems to be not really located in the best spot. Generally, it's a good idea to put your support right after the sentence that, presents the idea. So it should kind of be organized like idea, support, and then idea, support. So I would have taken this particular sentence out and I would have put it here. And I also think it would have been nice to actually support that idea, because you just kind of left it standing there. You said that the family members suffer too. I think that it would have been very good to say what you meant by that. Give us an example, like how do family members suffer? Okay, but more importantly, we're supposed to be talking about this. Countries are more economically successful. So you didn't really talk about that. You talked about people's health. You talked about, the citizen himself, but not the country. And you certainly didn't talk about economic success at all. Now, I would have been okay with what you wrote if you had acknowledged somewhere in this paragraph that this is what we're talking about. So you could have said, on the one hand, there is ample evidence that not only are countries with longer working hours not more economically successful, but their citizens suffer as a result of these working hours. Okay, so that would have made a lot more sense. That way, at least an examiner could say, oh, okay, well, this is on topic because, the candidate is telling us, addressing the question, addressing what's going on, saying, no, this is not happening. In fact, look what is happening. Okay, so you need to remember that you've got to frame your paragraphs kind of really faithfully abiding by what you're actually being asked, because the way you wrote it, it's as if you were answering a totally different topic. Okay, so really, really be careful with that. Let's move on. On the other hand, although it is stipulated that increasing work time increases productivity, need lesser workforce, and decreases cost of human resources, thereby benefiting the employer and getting products delivered at a great rate, the positive impacts of a relaxed and healthy employee cannot be overstated. All right. So I didn't understand this part. Need lesser workforce. Let me see. Although it is stipulated that increasing work time increases productivity, how about requires fewer employees? Is that what you mean? Maybe. And decreases cost of human resources, thereby benefiting the employer in getting products delivered at a great rate. The positive impacts of relaxed and healthy employees cannot be stated. Okay. All right. For example, as per OECD Better Life Index, Turkey, Colombia, and Mexico have 10 to 12 hour shifts. Okay, so no S here, and the S belongs here because hour here is an adjective. Compared to average 7 to 8 hours a day, they are still not amongst economically rich countries. Whereas, this should be one word, many Scandinavian countries work less than average working hours per week, but are considered as rich and prosperous nations. Okay, well, this was on topic. So you mentioned that, these prosperous countries have fewer working hours. And so as far as being on topic goes, it is on topic. Now, However, what I should say is that even though, yes, it is on topic, it didn't really get on topic until the very end, because you had this sentence here which was really, really long, right? So it went to like the fourth line. So I would have liked to see that shortened. And the other thing is that you didn't really talk about some of this stuff in the previous paragraph. So when you use a structure like this, what you're really doing is just kind of rephrasing the key point of the previous paragraph, but you didn't actually say this. You said increasing work time increases productivity. You just told us that it doesn't increase productivity. Okay? So what would have made more sense here is if you had said, on the other hand, although it is, if you want to use stipulated, sure, although it is stipulated that longer working hours decrease costs of human resources, and I don't know, require a smaller workforce, the positive impact of relaxed, well, not really, the positive impacts of relaxed and healthy employees on the country at large cannot be overstated. So if you had said that, if you brought it back to the country in that first sentence again, it would have been more on topic, because remember, look at what's saying. Countries with longer average working time, economically successful. It's not asking you so much about the individual, but it's asking about the country. So I really want to kind of stress that with you, because now that you're still at the beginning of your preparation, I really want you to understand how important it is to analyze the question correctly and respond to the question correctly. Okay? So, from arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although working extra hours a week might increase productivity for a short period of time, it proves to be counterproductive in the long run, and many countries are now adopting flexible working schedules, or how about this, flexible working hours without the schedules, to increase productivity and proficiency. Productivity, yes. Proficiency, I don't think is correct. Okay, that was fine. You're on the right track. You're doing a lot of right things here. You're definitely using the template correctly. So all that's going well. I do want you to just be careful with the things I've been talking about today, about really understanding the task and answering the task. Okay? So go ahead and correct these, and let's see more work from you. I'll be waiting. So good luck.